Let me introduce our moderator and esteemed panelist. Allow me to invite on the dais the moderator of this session, Mr. Rajiv Gupta. Mr. Rajiv Gupta is the president of PB Fintech Limited, the parent company of the Policy Bazaar and Paisa Bazaar, and co-chairman BFSI Committee, EU Chambers. With over 35 years of experience in the BFSI sector, Rajiv is a visionary leader known for his strategic expertise in banking, insurance, fintech, and insurtech. He drives key initiatives.
Our first speaker is Mr. Jesper Gate. Mr. Jesper Gate is Managing Director of DI India, the Indian arm of Confidential of Danish Industry, where he helps Danish companies succeed in Indian market. He holds an MSc in Marketing from University of South Wales, a postgrad diploma from Chartered Institute of Marketing, and a BA from University of Stanfordshire.
Our next speaker is Mr. Srinivasan Sambandam, founder and managing director of Galaxy Education Consultant, Galaxy Pictures and Galaxy Civil Solution, and co-founder of Galaxy Training Academy. Holds a degree in electrical and electronics engineering and an MBA in marketing and operation. With over 17 years of experience in overseas education consulting, he is India's leading expert on study opportunities in France, representing 10 reputed French institutions and currently serving as country manager for Audencia Business School.
Our next speaker is Mr. Karthikeya Anand. He serves as an officer on special duty of Minister of Finance and Skill Development, Government of Andhra Pradesh, and as a senior advisor for Indian market, regulation and policies at an alternative energy company. He holds a master's in public policy from ISB, along with management and leadership program from Cornell University and IIM Bangalore.
Our next speaker is Mr. Jagan. Mr. Jagannath is the CEO and co-founder of Kamba and Easy Daily, with over 2 decades of experience at PwC, EY, and IBM. An AI-first leader, he heads Kamba, a global AI consulting and technology firm with operation across India, the US, the Middle East, Australia, Singapore, and EU.
Our next speaker is Mr. Sakti Kumar. He is the chairman and managing director of Swing Sweater Private Limited with over 30 years of experience in ready-mix concrete and concentration machinery sectors. He leads the operation across India, and Africa has been pivot for establishing the company's house, R&D, and 52-acre global manufacturing hub in Tamil Nadu.
Our next speaker is Mr. Apur Mahindru. Has been with DAAD with over 25 years, serving in regional and international roles and representing the organization at global forums. An expert in international higher education, he has contributed to several European Union education projects. Currently, the head of marketing and deputy director at the DAAD regional office in New Delhi. He oversees activities across South Asia and serves on the board of the German Center for Research and Innovation.
A very warm welcome to all our speakers. Over to you, sir.
Good afternoon, everyone. It's quite nostalgic to be here because I was educated in this very city, and I passed out from here before going to Bombay. So third in Chennai, and I can speak Tamil as fluently. So thank you for inviting me, Dr. Renu, to do this session today. So good afternoon to all the esteemed guests, panelists, and delegates. I am pleased to welcome you to this important session. Student to Global Citizen Policies for Seamless Academic and Professional Mobility. Friends, our panel includes today leaders from government, industry, academia, and technology. I'm sure. Let's start the conversation now without any further delay. I think when we start the panel discussion, I also request each of you to probably make a small introductory remark if possible. So I will start with Mr. Jesper, who is the Managing Director of DI India, Confederation of Danish Industry. Mr. Jesper EU industries, especially Danish companies, have a strong presence in India. How can these companies better integrate student mobility through internships, apprenticeships, and joint industry academia programs so that Indian students gain meaningful and high quality exposure to global work culture?
Yes, thank you for the introduction. Yes, my name is Jesper Gade. I am heading the Danish industry here in India. What that means is that I help Danish companies invest in India. So I help the companies come into India, set up their local subsidiary, and we also help them operate. So you could say we are an incubator. And we are also currently involved in a project, as Denmark is quite similar to a lot of other European countries in the sense that we lack a workforce. So we are conducting a pilot project where we are assisting skilled workforce or labor force from India to come to Denmark on a pilot program. But I can talk more about that later. So coming back to your question. It's an interesting question, and I had some time to reflect on it. And Denmark, yes, we are part of EU, but we are in fact a very small country. We are not even half the size of Chennai. So, and we only have six universities. But we can definitely assist, and we do have quite a strong presence here in Chennai. The Danish industry or Danish companies have a strong foothold in Chennai. We have big companies like FL Schmidt, Danfoss, Grundfos, Vestas, and they do have a significant presence, and they also operate graduate programs where they are bringing in students to travel to their all their global factories and sites. But most of the companies in Denmark are small, medium-sized. They don't have the resources to set up bespoke programs with any educational institution in India. So they do rely quite heavily on the universities or the educational institution in Denmark to facilitate a peer-to-peer program. And in that way, get graduates from India to take an education in Denmark. And luckily, I would say, education is free in Denmark. We are up against some of the big universities from the UK, France, and Germany, etc. So I think one of the benefits of Denmark is free education. Students coming in on the Erasmus program from India will be treated similar to a Danish student. So that means they will even get a government grant every month. They will receive more than 1 lakh rupees to live. So I think that's a big benefit, and also help the transition from India and coming into a country like Denmark, which is so significantly different than India. Yeah.
That's such a pleasure to hear. Normally, we have countries providing free education to their own citizens, but offering such kind of facilities to international students is certainly a big takeaway today, right? I think, thank you so much. I think it's good. I'm sure all of you will immensely benefit out of this. I now move to Mr. Srinivas, who runs a business school. He's a country manager of Audencia Business School. Mr. Srinivas, what specific policy reforms from the EU or India would significantly will speed up the student mobility? This includes areas like scholarships, which he just mentioned, mutual recognition of credits, visas, and programs that combine industry with academia learning.
Very good afternoon to one and all. Srinivas Samandam this side. I'm the country manager for Audencia Business School. And this question is an important aspect because policy is nothing but streamlining the process or giving solution to the challenges what the countries are facing. let's identify what are the challenges European Union is facing and what are the challenges India is facing. When it comes to the European Union, the main challenge over there is the aged population. Year on year, the aged population is increasing, even if it is in point, still out of 27 countries in the European Union, 26 countries' age population is increasing. There is a gap, a small gap on the working population, because working population is not increasing. It's still stagnant in one of the countries, and it's going down in other countries in the European Union. The only country where the age population is not increasing in the European Union is Malta. So these are the challenges the European Union is having. Now, what challenges India is having? India is having almost 58% working population as of 2024. So imagine this 58% is a very good population with the overall India population. When compared to the 58%, we have big working resources. Now, what challenges here is all the working population are skilled? And there we have lot of gaps, which as an academic people and education industry people, we all have collective responsibility on developing the skill development for the working population here in India. If we can do both the challenges, we can give a solution to both the challenges, we can match as per the topic says students to global citizen. As we have a huge students population, and every year on year, the students going abroad is increasing. The policy has to be framed in such a way that after completion of the higher education in Europe, there should be an opportunity for the job search visa and skill talent acquisition, because every company needs, the politics will be left and right will be there till the end. But the company has to sustain, and when the company has to sustain, they need the skilled resources to be there. And when there is a shortage of skilled resources, as a whole country, we have to work together to identify the right skills and then to use it wherever whichever industry there is a need. So in India, the technology students are really high, and they need right skilled people to be there. And one more point, what the professors in Europe and especially in France, what they're looking, we want students from IIT. And one more important point, what EU professors and the industry has to understand is, India is not only IIT. It's just 0.3% of the Indian students are there in IIT. We have huge potential. But the problem is, we have to position our skilled resource to the world. To position the skilled resource to the world, we have to frame such a policy where we can identify the skill and then to take it around the world. So this is one area where we all, industry people from the education, we have to work together collectively and to ensure this policy can be framed, which will help not only India, but the entire world. That's the goal. The goal is to help each other.
Wonderful. Thank you, Mr. Srinivas. I think certainly policy intervention, and visibility around what Indian students can do, will create the necessary impact. Since you spoke about policy, I'll straight away move to a policy maker, Mr. Kartikeya Anand, who's the OSD to Minister of Finance and Skill Development, Government of Andhra Pradesh. Mr. Kartikeya Anand, if you can tell us, how can Indian state governments, you work for a state which is run by one of the most, well-known chief ministers. In his earlier avatar, I am told, he created so many IT institutions that today, if the world is proud of having so many tech professionals, a lot of credit goes to Andhra Pradesh, for that. So how can Indian state governments design simple policies and skill development frameworks that help students transition smoothly from academic programs to global careers, especially in growing fields like green energy, AI, EV mobility, and digital finance? Why I'm saying this is, today, while green energy is the topic which is spoken about, even simple things like creating alternate fuel to coal, which is like biopellets or biogas, while there are a lot of success stories, but there are equal number of failures. There are a large number of failures because the talent and skill is not available to be able to run this institute. One of the largest reasons for failures is that. So your inputs on that.
Thank you, sir. Andarki namaskaram. Swami Shalamappa. Vanakkam. I think now it's not policy. We talk from bottom of my heart, and also we will talk what we can actually do. So it is for everyone who all, I think doors are closed. So once my guru said, if you want to go fast, go alone. If you want to go far, go with everyone. So we all will travel far for getting reforms in education, creating sustainable livelihood for our people. So it comes to the question he asked, such a lengthy question. So generally I thought it's an objective question, but it is like a conventional kind. So when you're talking about, at present I'm working on attracting investments for the state of Andhra Pradesh, especially in renewable energy, heavy industries, and education skill development. You are at one side, you're attracting investment for the state. For that, you're preparing a policies. Only thing, if you have a skilled manpower, the investment will convert into reality, correct? It will sustain. So we need to work on reverse engineering, strengthening our education system, and strengthening our skills. People has to continuously upskill and reskill themselves. So what kind of facilities or policies or how we can strengthen, that is most important. Now, especially when you see the question of, my colleague panelist here, I've been to Denmark to speak in a hydrogen week, Copenhagen. So when you see in European countries, wherever most of the Indians are, they start working. In 2023, when I visited World Economic Forum, me and my minister, 2 years back, we thought, I think if 27 Schengen countries and all this, each state can adopt. We can fulfill their actually requirement of manpower. They require a huge manpower, but are we going to use those opportunities? Unfortunately, no. The reason is language barriers. Correct? So that is what we are going to talk DAD here. We have to give that, how we can give that language. It's not only English, correct?
Correct.
Danish and French, Spanish, all these languages. If we can give, apart from English and mother tongue, then Hindi, one has to get additional language. If you have a language skills, you can survive anywhere, correct? So if you can give these language skills, learning a language always, you understand the culture of that. If I want to understand Tamil, I need to learn about Tamil language, then I can read about such a wonderful, great history, great culture. The same way, once you know the language, then you understand about more into culture and other systems there, traditions, everything. So we need to inculcate these language labs in schools, especially Germany, they require more nursing, and even Japan also. So we have to give additional skills. Apart from technical skills, the language skills are most important, because we can't create employment opportunities. Only thing is, we can make them entrepreneurs. So we need to make sure that how we can make them entrepreneurs who can give employment to many others. So when you ask in a class, what do you want to become in life? They will say, I want an IAS, IPS, lawyer, engineer, and all this. But we need people in the mindset of the people, attitude. You should say that I want a businessman, and I want to be an entrepreneur where I can give employment opportunities to everyone. This is an attitude we need to get, and that is where we have to give the reforms and the policies to get that education system towards entrepreneurs. Entrepreneurs can create employment opportunities. So, and also using this European side, opportunities for giving an employment and policies, and government should, with investments, investor-friendly policies where government should give that predictability. Okay, if we're going to invest here, we are going to get a right manpower where we grow. So that, and also setting up of labs, not only language labs, more than that, we need to set up technical, we are giving a traditional education system, strengthening our ITIs. We should not forget ITIs, Industrial Technical Institutions, Polytechnic, Diploma. These are the way where we can create a lot of opportunities. Setting up the labs in ITI colleges, Polytechnic colleges, and even 10th standard school, 9th and 10th. Give them more activity-based learning. That will create passion to work and passion to drive for sustainability. This is, I think, one area we need to focus. And government, industry, and also people. It is not government has to take policies and industry has to support. More than anyone, civic sense. The public has to take advantage. They should use government and industry to grow. Then only the triangle will flourish and they'll grow. Thank you.
Thank you. I think I can see where the vision is coming from, because when I met Honorable Chief Minister a couple of months back in Vizag, he mentioned that the target this time is one entrepreneur, one per family. And so that's a clear vision which you're also certainly sharing with all of us.
It is 150 crore people's vision.
So it's a wonderful vision, and I think I'm sure this is going to happen, because I've seen when he says something, he means it and he actually delivers it. And with teams like you around him, this is certainly possible, And language barriers, I certainly agree. I think it opens up a different door altogether. If we can strengthen languages in our colleges, it will open up another avenue, Europe. So today we go to US, a lot of multinationals are headed by Indians. I'm sure European companies also have a lot of opportunities for Indians, provided this language barrier can be addressed. I think the previous panel did cover a lot about languages. And I earnestly request all the educational institutes present here to give a lot of emphasis on foreign languages, because that will really open up doors for all of you. I now move to, Mr. Jagan, who is the CEO of Khamba Inc., which is Easy Daily, Mr. Jagan, what new digital tools or edtech platforms of entrepreneurial ecosystems can help Indian students transform international education into relevant long-term professional success?
We all spoke about problems that the students have when it gets into a European base, right? I think the first one is language, and everybody resonates that. And there's also a culture that comes into play. Every European country by itself, a slightly varied culture and history to it. Plus, there are a lot of critical elements when it comes to a student studying here and then moving to Europe or any other country, for example. So in Europe, there's something which is called as EU skills qualification framework, right? And of course, in India as well, there is an NSQF, a resonation of that, a parallel to it. The language there is completely different. The language here is completely different, and there is no mapping of it. So if a student has to understand what on the left-hand side is, he's probably there, but he's not able to map it. And if that can be enabled, then every student in India knows what he will be and what is the skill required for him to be there, right? And that is where the gap exists in technology, is what I would say. But moving forward with language, right? Like language is a barrier, but today, I think with AI in the last couple of years, learning is not a problem. You need not have tutors with you to learn French or German. You have an AI agent which can help you learn it very easily. And that with Indian students, the problem is that you're a bit shy to learn languages because you could be wrong. And then it affects your learning. But this is your one-on-one tutor. You could sit at home and learn, make all the mistakes, it's going to correct you. And it's going to come at a very, very economical or a very affordable fee. It's not that you have to pay a few thousands like how I went to Alliance Française or a Goethe, Max Muller Bhavan to study those languages, right? And moreover, I think rather than higher education where we have foreign languages, I think more from a policy standpoint, even in schools we have to have that. I think some international schools do have French, German, Arabic as third languages or second languages. That could be another initiative as well. Moving back to how tech can help. So analyzing the whole framework of how EU and India works and the mapping that is required, there are two important criteria that every student has to know. One is what is called as skill tokens. These skill tokens are nothing but very, very specific skill areas that a student should be skilled on. To give an example, if for software engineering, right, I am a skilled SQL engineer, which means that that's a skill token that I bear, right? And it's available in the internet. there are like programs like Coursera, EDX, or even Google and AWS for that matter. Students can go to Google, get a badge that is considered as a skill token.
Sure.
If we do not have that, if I just say that I went to a program and like I went to college, I learned SQL, that is not considered an authentic way of a skill token. You have to have these skill tokens from one of these edtech platforms or startup-led platforms so that it is recognized. The second thing is that you should have a digital tech validation of what you have done.
Sure.
Right? Otherwise, EU doesn't recognize that at all. You put in your resume, you talk about it, it is not recognized. You should have to have validations done. So there are multiple platforms there. You can also go ahead and validate. The previously said platforms also do that. And now that you've got all these, right, you have to store it somewhere, right? At least with India, we've got DigiLocker, where at least our university certificates are there, but not our certifications, not our skill tokens. There's something which is called as Credly. Credly stores all these tokens. Credly stores all these micro credentials, right? Because micro credentials is another point that is very, very critical for students to store and then do it.
Sure.
So multiple platforms that is there, and the only missing link, what I would say is that, what if there can be a mapping of all the requirements of EU and the skill mapping of what is there in India, and we could use AI to map, which is happening elsewhere, but maybe the EU chamber can take that initiative of developing one which could easily help move the skill to the next level. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Jagan. I think clearly, the language endorsement is coming again and again, and that's something which all of us should focus on. And you also rightly said, that today the Indian startup ecosystem is so strong that we have proven to the world what India can do with over 100 unicorns, right? And I'm sure countries need entrepreneurs who can also do similar setups in their countries, right? And if languages can be addressed with the intellectual minds we have here, not only they can solve India problems, they can solve world problems, And if you can identify a problem and a solution, as you rightly said, there's no other better place than the world today, right? Startup ecosystem is in demand, and everybody is talking about startups, creating large amounts of funds for startups. And we also have BBG Group, who also is happy funding startups, in India. And I'm sure many such countries are also waiting for such entrepreneurs to come from here. I now move to Mr. Shakti Kumar, who is the chairman and MD of Swing Stellar India. Sir, global manufacturing and infrastructure companies work across regions with different standards. What do they expect from graduates aiming for international roles? And how can universities adjust curricula and hands-on learning to meet these experiences?
Thank you, sir. The whole discussion today is happening on basis that opportunities are there abroad for Indian students to get a good livelihood after taking a job out there. But I wanted to give a different perspective. Today, India has become number 3 in terms of making machineries for infrastructure industry. Since the question is addressed directly to manufacturing and infrastructure, so that is a reality. So the opportunity in India itself is too big. At the same time, I also wanted to tell most of the European and American or even Japanese manufacturing companies want to move out of their respective, original location to India or any other Asian country to offer the products more competitively. So the context is quite different in our industry, especially infrastructure and machinery manufacturing. So you have still a chance for Indians to get skilled, and of course I don't want to repeat whatever I said earlier about language, culture, etc. But also there is a big need for them to understand the latest happenings in the manufacturing industry, like Industry 4.0 or robotics or connected machines. And these aspects need to be taught in the colleges. Besides, the quality standards in the destination where they wish to go, it's something very, very important for them. for the students to understand. Or since students are not in this forum, only we have the educational institution which are going to take care of that. I would like the educational institutions to focus on giving an opportunity for the students to know the expectation on those aspects in the destination. And also, it is important for all of us here to understand that where the opportunities are emerging for job situation. This is a very dynamic situation. I can tell you in our industry what had happened. Last year we put a bay for manufacturing machinery for US market. Everything is done, finished. Now it has gone into the back burner because of the tariff situation. So now from making the machine here, for product development they are insisting on GCC to have more engineers sitting in India doing the design, because the opportunity to go and work in that destination is also ruled out now. So these all are the emerging situation. One should be very carefully studying that. Otherwise, if you make a general format, and you may end up having a lot of students qualified, waiting with aspiration, but there is no destination to go. On the other side, if you talk about the aging population in Japan or Europe or North America for that matter, they need a lot of professionals who have to physically be available to do jobs.
Sure.
For example, areas like servicing the machinery. Average European employee has got used to so much of comfort, he doesn't want to travel to Nigeria where the risk is perceived to be very high. And we are willing to do that. So I think that's a great opportunity for the people to focus on such areas where it is not different, very different from our own hometown. So I think we will be shining very well. And the other area is on the GCC side, they have to be updated on whatever is latest in the design aspect of equipment manufacturing or equipment designing rather. So I think these are the points the institution and all the policy makers should consider to make sure that, in the industry like traditional engineering industry, the opportunities are there. For example, another area I would like to talk about is welders and fitters. Again, you don't have people. In this, wherever there is manufacturing happening in Europe, you don't get easily people for this skill sets. And there are a lot of work is happening. I also would like to tell here that next week, Indo-German Chamber of Commerce, along with the MEPS, will be signing a new agreement to make, for skilling program for fitters who will be taught German and the skills to get employment in Europe. So some things are happening in that area also. So this area should also be focused, like people doing tough job like welding. There are more people in India who are doing polytechnic and ITI than the engineering. So we should focus on them also on the overall development of the society. Thank you.
Hey, thank you so much, sir. I think 2-3 takeaways. I'll also share real-time experiences. I had an opportunity to visit Banastali University in Rajasthan, and I was pleasantly surprised to see an actual mini furnace, mini steel plant, mini workshop where they are actually dismantling the entire car and learning. And this is real-time skilling, And I'm sure many other universities have that, but in such a large setup of 1,000 acres, they've actually created a furnace. They've actually created a robotic setups. I think these kind of initiatives by university will certainly create the skill talent which we require. And when we spoke about, what do we do here to also meet international aspirations? I think India today, when it's moving toward Viksit Bharat 2047, clearly MSMEs and SMEs are going to be a big focus area, right? So one is opportunity in terms of employment. The other is how can we create interest in people starting SME units and MSME units. And to support them, the Ministry of Commerce recently has started Bharat Mart, in Dubai, in partnership with, I forgot the company, where they are going to help Indian entrepreneurs located anywhere in the country to be able to take their produce to the nearest port in India, and from there to Dubai port. And from Dubai, it will go to any port in the world. So Dubai is setting up a largest port. So such are the facilities which are being created to encourage, manufacturing, entrepreneurship. I think clearly there is, an opportunity for all of us. I'm sure these learnings will really help people who don't have such facilities. But I think if you can aim at creating facilities, corporates are willing to sponsor. I think all these units I spoke about have been set up by companies like Bajaj Auto. They have actually sponsored setting up a furnace in Banasali University. I'm sure there are many such universities also there. I now move to Mr. Apurva Mahindru. It is a pleasure to have you in our panel. I think today you made it to Chennai in spite of a flight getting cancelled in the morning. So thank you for your presence. I know it's been quite hectic for you. But you are a Deputy Director of DAAD India, right? Now, DAAD has been long-standing bridge between Indian and German higher education systems. What new forms of collaboration, such as joint degree, research, or digital learning models are emerging that can significantly deepen EU-India academia partnership?
So first of all, thank you so much, Rajiv. Thank you for accommodating me in your panel. So it's great to be here. And since I do represent a German organization that primarily deals with mobility, this means the movement of students and academics and scientists to and from Germany to all over the globe. It's a pleasure being here and sharing this stage. Chennai is special to Germany also. I don't have a personal connection with Chennai, as Rajiv mentioned earlier on being a Punjabi growing up here. I don't have any of that. But Germany has a deep connection with Chennai because the IIT Madras that exists here was in those days set up with a technical support from Germany. So that's something that we're very proud of. And in fact, I'd like to start off by sharing three numbers: 100, 65, and 50. 100 is the number that represents the age of our organization. The German Academic Exchange Service, the DAAD, was founded exactly 100 years ago. So we're celebrating our centenary this year. It's a proud moment. 65 is the number of years that the DAAD has been present in India. So our office has been in India since over 65 years. I think that's a big achievement. And the great network that we have within this education scientific ecosystem is probably largely due to the fact for being around so much, for sticking on and really, being there for people. And the last figure of 50, actually 51 to be more precise, is Germany is one of the few countries from within the EU that has a science and technology agreement at a governmental level. So Germany with India has signed this more than 50 years ago, in fact. And that's another very, I think, important aspect to consider, that the framework was laid long back, which helped us to grow a lot here within the sector. Talking of course, some of the questions that you said, and maybe I'd also like to comment on some of the things the other speakers had to say. Jesper, you had mentioned that, Denmark is a relatively small country within Europe. Contrary to that, Germany is actually one of the largest countries, the largest country. And also the education system within Germany has over 400 universities. So of course, this is of a different scale and the challenges and the things are different. So I think each has something else to offer, whereas in the EU, smaller countries have specialized very great universities. Germany probably has a very large setup, so that's why we're very popular. And in fact, post-COVID, Indian students in Germany have overtaken Chinese students as the largest cohort of international students. It's a great achievement. So wherever, all over the globe, you were seeing student numbers actually falling, Germany was seeing and is seeing student numbers rising. So we have more than 60,000 Indian students, and they are the largest community. And all I can tell you is that universities are still further keen to cooperate, largely because of the policies that we have, whether those are related to issuance of visas or other things. And that brings me to one other very important aspect, which was also addressed here, that of language. So German universities obviously teach in German, but they also offer many courses in English as the medium of instruction. So that growing number of courses that are offered in English has attracted a lot of international talent. And as was addressed, Germany, like many other European countries, is in dire need of talented individuals at all levels, whether it on the vocational level, on the academic level, on the scientific level. So that's something we're seeing, and especially in the STEM subjects. Language is something we've also been addressing. So we have an initiative of 1,000 schools where we wish to teach as Germany language at 1,000 schools in India. In fact, the Goethe Institute, Max Müller Bhavans, that may be known to some of you here, and other initiatives are teaching German already at the school level, exactly with this aim to sensitize kids at a young age. German is taught at over 100 universities in India as well, at a different level. So I think we're putting in a lot of effort because we realize the relevance and importance. A slight difference of opinion in my case, I think we shouldn't only look at language as a barrier, but quite to the contrary, one could even look as language as an enabler, because knowing a language is going to get you ahead when you're in that particular system. So those are some of my initial thoughts about that. And I think I don't want to take much more time, just now coming to the question about what we're seeing. As I said, we have been here in India for a long time, so there's a lot of personal connections. And that's actually what you need. You need personal connections to keep things going. But at the end of the day, you also have to institutionalize things in order to make them bigger and larger. So that's the direction we are moving in. A lot of faculty, a lot of academics have good connections between India and Germany. Putting them into some formal framework of exchange programs is something, the direction which we're moving in over the last 5 years very successfully. So programs where students start a part of their education here, complete their education in Europe, these kind of twinning programs, dual degree programs, that is something that is very much catching on and also largely addresses issues with language and all those things, because students are better prepared when they go for the second leg of their education to Germany. So I'll leave it at here and maybe we can have a further discussion later.
Thank you so much. I think you added a perspective which is very clearly, in my opinion, the need of the hour. German countries are known for their skills when it comes to manufacturing, right? German products are even today in demand. And I'm sure if universities can run programs which are joint, with German institutions, we can produce much better talent as far as technical skills are concerned, because the learnings we take from there will certainly help our objective of creating a manufacturing, leadership in this country. We are known for the service industry, but manufacturing leadership is something which we really require. And with German, country like German with 400 universities, and I'm sure each Indian university can pick up one of the universities for a joint venture partnership. And I'm sure you can support that initiative. This will really be a great move for us. I will now obviously change, the sequence. I'll move to Mr. Karthikeya Anand, again. I think there's one policy maker, so we should best utilize your time, right? Are there any state-led initiatives in Andhra Pradesh, Mr. Karthikeyan, or other states such as international skill universities, global employment cells, or mobility missions that could be used nationally to boost India's global, employability?
Yes, thank you. State-led, we have, every state is working on encouraging international, because state's priority is giving employment. Every political party, you see that. The first thing is our state also said 20 lakh, next 5 years, 20 lakh employment opportunities. So it's a major criteria, but in India we can't create. So only thing is take international skilling. How we can take international skilling? Federal level also, NSDC is working on international skilling. At the same level, states, especially we have in Andhra, we set up our skill labs, and also we have a department which focuses on international skilling, attracting international skilling in terms of international skill academies where they come, and also where their placement opportunities. So like this international skilling we have done, what we have done is every ITI and every polytechnic college, we gave industry collaborations. At the same time in medical colleges, we made in nursing and all this. So international skilling, and for that Japan and also other embassies, we collaborated, like Finland and French embassy. So for skilling internationals and training them and giving them opportunities. It is not creating an opportunity there. How are you going to handle this youth or whoever gets employment in other countries, showing them there someone has to be there in that other countries, to give them culture and tradition and whatever norms there, to understand that. For that we are actually 6 months to 9 months courses in part of education courses. So by the time they complete their graduation or pharmaceutical or medical, they'll complete this course also, will equip with that country where they are going, the norms, they'll understand. So with this way, what happens is student is acquiring the language, technical skills. At the same time, how he or she can survive in that environment. It's not that once they land there, they should not get panic, correct? It's a new place. For example, if you don't know the language or you don't know the people, so you'll obviously have adaptability. That we are training. That is actually more, I can say that more than giving a language skills and all this, that is how they can actually comfortably, they can live there and they can focus their skills and they can give returns to the nation, at the same time be an asset for the country where they are going to work. So this is a way we are working on it. For this, again, I'm repeating, not only government, industry and parents. Parents are the major pillars. They have to encourage. And student, you see that they can pick up their own language. But learning new language, it's really a challenge. For that, students needs commitment and dedication, passion. Once you step out, you are going to grow. Anyone, you have come out from your house, you will see a different world.
Sure.
So that has one step has to take for the children, and for that, then government can support, industry can support.
Sure.
Employers are there. Like especially when you see that, apart from this, energy side, renewable energy, it's growing now. Once in 90s we spoke about IT. Now renewable energy, ample opportunities. Take it as a solar manufacturing side or solar power generation side, wind, green hydrogen, ample opportunities. But we are saying that no, we are getting investors, we are getting companies, but are we training these people for that?
Correct. I fully agree.
So first work, we have ready-made manpower there. Then you establish. Without all these things, we are going to set up a manufacturing plant without a skilled manpower. There's no point. So we have to work strengthening education systems, there's technical skills, at the same time commitment. A small example I'll give. You might have seen the BYD car, correct? Why we are talking about China? How strong their manufacturing, how strong their commitment, the quality of that. See that other brands we have. Why the quality? You pay, you get best quality. Can we compete with them? Yes, but we need to have that commitment. Children should be that, yes. Saying Jai Hind and all this is good slogans, but patriotism should be here.
Sure.
Give a commitment. If you do something, give the best. It's not that, okay, hum chalte hai, karenge, aisa attitude, we don't require it. When you say Indian, it has to come from Indian. So when you're talking China, we should compete with China, we should fight. Why? Learn. The moment you wake up, every item we use is Chinese item, correct? Why can't we give that kind of quality? Take, inspiration.
Sure.
Why can't we give that kind of quality in terms of manufacturing? Can we compete with China in terms of manufacturing? We'll say we should not take from China, we should not do that. If you don't take from China, from where you will take? Either you have to create on your own or accept it. Learn, whoever it may be, learn good things are there. Make sure that compete in a real sporty spirit. That is attitude is required. Indian, in the sense, a nation should be like India, citizens should be like Indian. This is an attitude we required. That is what, more than technical skills, more than language skills, and all this, give that attitude, passion, fire. Not in fires in watching movies, slogans and all this. Fire in doing something for the nation. The passion, fire should be like AK-203. One trigger it, 700 bullets will come out. That is the attitude, that kind of children we required. Youth. Now Gen Z and all these words are very fancy words. I don't know much about it, but the Gen Z should be like this. What are we going to do? Subhash Chandra Bose and all these people, they gave independence in 75 years completed. What are we doing? Still, quality. I admire with the BYD car. The quality of the car. Even you see Volkswagen, Skoda, German engineering. What an engineering. I've been to their plants. Each and everything. For example, if they find a minute nano fault in the mission, they will replace it. They don't even sell. But here, we will say, okay, chalta hai, chalo, jane do. That attitude we need to leave And parents focus more on giving education, right education, quality education. The quality education will lead to a quality life. Everyone will have a birth. Everyone will have a death. There is a C between B and D. Choice. What is your choice? How well you choose your choice. That is most important. A passion. Get the passion of 150 crore people. 20 years back, our population is 90 lakh. I think 90 lakh. 90 lakh, I think, I don't know how much exactly. Now 150 crore, correct? 20 years we are growing in population. The quality of life is most important. So for this, states also giving into more into what is required, right skills, and giving them, equipping them, and creating employment and also entrepreneurship. Thank you so much. I think I spoke so much.
Thank you. I think the passion was spilling out, and I'm sure, this passion and commitment is required in this country, very much. I think the industry cries of non-availability of skilled manpower. The government is talking about unemployment, right? Clearly, there is a gap. I think running co-curriculum programs jointly with universities. And when I say co-curriculum programs designed by the industry and the institute, in addition to whatever they do for their courses, will certainly help create better talent and will improve employability ratio in this country. Dr. Renu, you wanted to say something? Okay. Sorry.
You're saying, actually, I just add 1 minute only. Why government, why industry? When a child, a student, 18 years ago, they are choosing which movie to watch, what to do. Why can't they understand that what skill they have to acquire to live or to survive? So that is, they have choice. They have to take the choice here. They can decide anything, but why they can't take importance in terms of shaping their own lives? That will create a passion towards a nation or humanity.
Do we have some Q&As already? So you can just keep, at least let me know how many so that I can manage my time accordingly. I come back to you, Mr. Jagan. How can AI-driven technologies, virtual mobility and digital credentialing make student mobility and global career integration easier and faster?
Sure.
So I would request, if you can all be in brief, because then we can give some time for the audience to also ask Q&As.
Sure, Mr. Rajiv, yeah. So now everybody talks about AI, right? Like wherever you see in tech, it's AI. Indeed, I just keep telling that you prefix anything to your job role, the future profile with AI, that's going to be a new job role, right? If you're going to be a civil engineer, in the future you're going to be an AI civil engineer. Even if you're going to be a software engineer, you're going to be AI software engineer. I'll just take a couple of practical examples so that everybody understands it. Right? We had around 100 developers in our company. After AI, we made it 20. And we did 5x out of it. And now we're again scaling up to 100. So I can do 50x out of it. That's a scale to which just not software, any business can grow to that level if you use it right. So now, many are fearing like I might lose my job with AI. No, AI is going to create a lot of job opportunities. And we see in the next couple of years, even in India, leave apart the European Union, even in India, we'll not have qualified, skilled AI experts. And that's what we are foreseeing, and we are setting up Center of Excellences in multiple universities and colleges for our own demand, right? We run a partner group of around 150 AI companies. For these 150 companies, we don't have skill set next year. So we're training them for the future, right? And that's like very, very critical programs that we run for 3 to 6 months with college students, second years and third years to get there. So technology-driven, AI-led transformations are happening everywhere. And now, even with EU, I spoke about a lot of digitalization, a lot of AI being in place. Language barrier is broken because of AI, right? I just came back from Middle East. I frequently travel. Arabic is a very hard language to speak and to read, right? This time when I went, my AI helped me to do very well. I was not requiring a translator. I was able to speak by myself. I was able to understand because I had a transcriber using AI, right? So it is becoming very, very, very easy for anybody to learn the language, given he has got a curiosity to learn. And that is where curiosity becomes a very, very critical factor. Changing the mindset of students is very, very critical, right? As Mr. Karthikeyan talked about, if the student's mindset is changed from a job mindset to an entrepreneur mindset, the whole economy changes. Today, India is a services economy, right? Everybody wants to go for a job, right? A services sector is blooming. Why not a product economy, right? German lead a product economy. US is a product economy. Japan is a product economy. India is a services economy, right? And that has to be changed. So every student's mindset has to be changed, and AI is the right tool now. The reason is that earlier, if I were to create a product, it takes months, years. Today, in days and weeks, students can create AI products and then launch it.
Sure.
We could have products launched for EU, and of course, that would develop entrepreneurial capabilities there. So that's the extent to which technology can really enable for cross mobility, cross border employability as well. Thank you.
Thank you. Dr. Uday, you wanted to say something?
I just have a comment, not necessary question. I'm looking at the topic, which is that a student to global citizen. Okay, so somewhere deep down, I feel to nurture our students who are probably going to migrate to other nations, be it EU or be it in the globe. Certainly, and very rightly, Karthikeyanji, what you mentioned, Make in India is fine, but it need to be seen how to make it happen in India.
Sure.
And now for that particular purpose, actually it's a role which is to be played by the industry, by the universities, by the policymakers as well at both the ends. But I must say this, that significance of IBR is greater than ROI. IBR is investment before returns is greater than ROI. As you rightly mentioned, from AI point of view, you don't have kind of, manpower for the next year. Likewise, it's going to be tremendous paucity of the talent in all these areas which are far more kind of sunrise industries. So on one side, if universities or academic institutions, in case if they're not coming forward, there is no harm if the industry are coming forward at least one step. Because you'll really find, I'm with a due respect to my fellow colleagues from the academic setups, but education is still in the comfort zone in India. In a lighter way, we say that it's 2 punch, 1 lunch. Morning punch, lunch and punch. We have no consequences compared to what maybe industry people face. So somewhere, some of the proactive institutions, universities, they come forward on their own and they achieve the laurels. So out of whatever 52,000 higher education institutions, you need to just look at it, how many those institutions are. I can say business schools are 5,000 in the country. You can't even name 10% of the business schools are in that league, wherein probably students would apply. But this is a national waste if they are not productive. This is a waste for the companies, waste for everyone. So I think probably we may have to create a kind of co-creation and co-production model together. And EU, our kind of council of EU chambers platform, if you can leverage it, be it in Chennai, be it in other parts of the country, absolutely is fine. But somewhere my hunch is, with my experience of 3 decades in the education industry and at least 10 plus years with the companies, my sense is I think industry need to be a bit more proactive to come forward for sensing the future. Otherwise, you will lose a competitive edge. Education is always going to be secured industry. What about you? So I think let's try to see if this platform can be used. I'm sure Bala want to say something, but I'll leave it to Bala as well. Yeah.
Thank you, Dr. Uday. I think clearly university professors spending time in the corporates and corporates spending time in the universities. That will certainly strengthen, I actually offered this proposal to a few universities, but sparing a professor for 2 months or 3 months or vice versa is something which we'll have to all collectively address. And if that can be done, nothing like it. And also, without naming a university, when universities call up fag end of the year for placements, my only point which I make is don't come to placement suddenly. First you need to have interactions with that corporate for a longish period of time for them to understand what kind of students you produce. So hold interaction sessions before straight away walking and saying, can you recruit people from us? So that objective will have to be addressed. And I agree with you. it is not who comes first, it is the effort from both sides which are very important. I now come to, Jasper again. Mr. Jasper, from the perspective of Danish and broader EU industries, what are the most critical skills, including technical, digital, and behavioral, that graduates need to smoothly transition into global roles or cross-cultural teams? I'll come to you, Mr. Bala.
Thank you for that question. It's quite interesting. And also into the companies and the industries is how do they collaborate? So again, yes, taking the example of German being a product country, Denmark is a knowledge country. So what does it take to make a good product? No, it's not done by one person. It's done by a lot of different departments. So the ability to collaborate is extremely important in the Danish culture and industry. So it's about having an open mindset. It's about being able to collaborate, listening to others, and also think maybe coming from India, coming to a country like, also Germany, but Europe, and especially in the Nordic countries, there is no hierarchical structures. You don't address a professor as professor. You give them the first name. It's very, very informal. And everybody expect you to speak your mind, not to agree with you. So critical thinking is extremely important also to drive product development and so on. Sure. So for any students, and I hope you all study based on your passion in life and not because what you can expect to earn in the future. That level of passion is what we are looking for. Yeah.
The topic, Dr. Renu, is so vast that we require an entire day to discuss this. So, though I had 10 questions each for each panelist, but I think they must be feeling relieved that I'm not stopping at 2. But I think we'll now take some questions from the audience before we come back to the panelists who are still left behind.
If you don't ask questions, it's like punching and lunching only.
Ma'am, I have this question, and then if you can take a question, or you like to say from there?
Yeah, I can see.
Wonderful, ma'am.
Ma'am, I request everyone, please ask only questions. Don't give statements. It is easy for us. Everyone.
So this is from Venkateshwara Bala. We are churning out graduates like mobile phones, but quality is a casualty. How to enhance it? None of the Indian universities in the top 50 universities in the world. Why? Please, sir.
It's a very important question and straightforward question. See, the challenge, what we are facing here in India is academic people are not only doing academic activity, they are doing administrative activity. Maybe very few institutions in India might be different. But when you compare to the maximum number of institutions here is, if you look into European Union, the professors or whoever is into the academic area, they will never ever touch into the administrative questions or anything. Because they concentrate more into the academic, the research activity, the development into the industries, developing a product, everything will be into the academic. Their full focus into academic. But down here in India, this is my observation. If I'm wrong, you can correct me. Professors are not only doing that, they are more into administrative work. Their concentration is missing out from the academic area and the research and development. We have the potential. The professors are really potential to develop the talented students down here. But what is happening is, again, understand the reality. They are not fully focused on the academic area. They are more into administrative area. If you can able to address this and if you give them the free hand, for the professors, I'm pretty sure that we can, as I told you, 58% of Indian population or working population, I can ensure that 57% will be skilled working population.
Wonderful.
That assurance I can just give you. This is my observation.
Hey, thank you so much. I have a slightly different opinion. While certainly we are not ranked in the top 50, I don't know which kind of ranking list have you seen, but today Indian graduates, Indian people who have studied here, are dominating some of the global MNCs, as global CEOs of those companies. So obviously this education has helped. They must have further, did their education abroad. There is no doubt about it. But I clearly feel that ranking system is questionable. Who ranks you and why? How do they rank you? But I strongly believe today some of the Indian universities, including SRM, which is today probably organizing this event, produces some of the best engineers in the world. So I think there is no doubt about it in my mind. Dr. Bala, you want to? Sorry.
His question is simple because we have, if you take it in Andhra and Telangana, 730 plus engineering colleges are there. Mindset of the children, the moment they complete 10th standard, +2, after +2, either engineer or doctor. Doctor is like little difficult, so everything is engineer. And think that colleges are there. So more than children, what they want, colleges will approach their houses and will say, why don't you come and join? Because of the various government schemes also there. So whether without passion, they join they'll complete a graduate engineer. But are they qualified engineers? The question mark is this. So now, how can we talking about very few people on top level, correct? Why? Because we are not choosing in the right way. Child should understand what he wants to become, how he can contribute to the nation. Instead of that, no, my friends are joining in engineering, I'll also join the same college. If they are joining some arts, they'll go. So this is what it should change. Child should select what he wants.
I think no doubt about it, sir. I also believe that when today institutes get students on their, on the campus, the onus also starts on the institute day one in terms of owning what the person wants to do. If the person doesn't have clarity, and the first things we should do is, why is he joining my college? It is not that he has joined me so I get another 15 lakhs of fees, but in terms of what can I do when he passes out from this college 4 years down the line. Also, it's a responsibility which institutions should own. So I agree with you fully, but it's a joint effort by students and institutions put together. Mr. Bala, you wanted to say something, sir? After
Good
after this.
Anyway,
Sure.
Because we have talked about some of these aspects, but one thing that we have not done, I think.
Can you give the mic to?
Hello. Yeah, one thing that I think we have not touched in this answer is what I feel is, and what we have seen, the teachers are still not considered as a premium level of, job, right? That is in India. Because most often, apart from those top people in the colleges, all other people would be someone who tried various other options and then slowly came towards teaching, right? Until you see that, there is a good promotion and support from the government, right? To promote the teachers, the education, right, people, professors and all, I don't think this will change. Because like you said, you have tried to reach out to a couple of universities saying that, can you send professors for maybe 3 months into industry and then so that he can be on job trained and all. That's not happening. Because they do not want to spend that amount of time. It's only a matter of 3 months of salary.
Sure.
Right? So somewhere I think, the quality of teachers itself needs to be improved because, people should be motivated to take that job. Okay, that's a very respectable job. I need to be there. Right? So I think that's one of the things.
I agree. See, I have come up from the government school. Today I'm sitting from a government school. My teachers are my guru, role models. Here what is happening is teaching job or engineering colleges, if they're not getting any opportunity after completion of their engineering, they're becoming as a teacher. So why? Because they're also, children also like that. Teacher will become strong when children are like, they're asking questions, the passion. It's both the sides, correct?
I fully agree. I think no doubts about all this. I have faced this during my interactions with students in universities. Sometimes when you talk about BFSI, half the class doesn't understand what is BFSI. And that's what surprises us because same university probably charges 20 lakhs of fees, for the 2-year MBA program. But that's besides the point. I think there are a lot of issues to be sorted out. Dr. Bala, your view quickly, please.
Good afternoon. In fact, since he has been talking, Mr. Karthik, a lot of policy levels issues.
I think your mic is
Hello?
Yeah.
Since we are talking, many times we use the word child. Now, ultimately, child, student, global citizen, how to convert them. Is it all, don't you think that we should start with the discipline and cleanliness? Somewhere a weightage has to be given to in our education system. Like if I see something in Japan school, the students in the morning have to clean themselves. Men go to the school, clean. They have to follow the road crossings. So it starts from there to create a global citizen. Now, when it only talked about the language, it's not the only language, the culture. Parents are worried about, what will happen to my kid? Will he get married to a German girl or he will go to the other one? They are not going to, after that, in parents' control, but parents end up having a loan. And the old age, there is a problems. So these are the issues, probably as a policy maker, and Andhra government today with a, kind of a very strong CM now, I could say, we should try to create some role model, a government scheme where the students should be given from the childhood days, he should be given some merit card for keeping it clean. Give that weightage in that admission process also. 10 percentage points. Don't talk about marks. Talks about, this discipline, his learning, his passion. Which you said rightly, passion should be identified. Why should we have a +2 board exam only? Why not you introduce another curriculum in it? Your passion. Call it passion only. It can be an art, it could be a drawing, it could be anything. The passion lab, like that our guidance has got a work labs. Please create a passion labs. Maybe your comments on this.
I think we'll take the comment. Ma'am, you also have a question, so that you can answer both together, if you don't mind. Sorry, Dr. Reddu, we may...
Yeah.
1:30 now. I think it's spilled by 5 minutes. Is it okay?
Okay.
You have no choice.
I'll make it very quick. I am Saraswati, Secretary General of the Madras Chamber of Commerce here, and we have been working a lot on the skilling area. A few decades back, we were talking about brain drain. We were all scared about brain drain. Today, we are comfortable talking about labor mobility. We say export of human capital. Fine, that's good. My only point is, when we come to the skilling, it has to be very uniform. We cannot create an export quality skilling where people will be compelled to learn language, everything it comes because they have the aspirations. Leaving aside the language, the other competencies, I would say, has to be uniform. As he said, if you also want to have the Make in India policy, the quality has to be uniform. What would be the right approach? One could be the entrepreneurship, because I remember one of my earlier committee members used to say, we shouldn't make IITians and Alfonso mangoes for exports. That's not the idea. So how do you want to do? One could be definitely entrepreneurship, but how to make the skilling equal?
Sure. Sir, you'll take this. I think there are two questions to address. Mr. Bala raised a point and,
Ma'am, I would like to answer you. I would also like to answer Mr. Uday's part of observation. There are good things are also happening between institution and manufacturing companies in India, but it is not really coming out very well in the media. For example, I would like to say there are visionary universities which are giving the opportunity for the student to do 1 semester as a break in the companies. I think from SRM we have students between their completion of the course, 1 semester they come to the factory, 6 months they work. For the internship they are evaluated and then they are given marks for that. So the first point what we talked about, when global companies are looking for Indian students, they don't see that they don't have a good practical experience, that is getting addressed. But not everybody is doing. There are one-off institutions, other than them, they are doing also. If we talk about institution and academic collaboration, IIT has got a program. For net zero in the construction, they are having many schemes to invite companies to do research, which will take India to that level. So the lean construction or low carbon construction, they are planning to do that. Many companies, corporates are part of that. That gives opportunity for the IIT students to invest on research which is required by the country after 20 years or so. So this is happening in another side. If we talk about people who are diploma engineers, not BEs, VIT has got a program in our factory. All the diploma engineers can become a graduate engineer. They run a program in the campus in our factory. Every weekend they come and teach. So they are given degree along with the regular Bachelor of Engineers who pass out in the annual ceremonies along with them, taking their level to that. So many young people who don't have money but very good in academics, who lost the opportunity to become a good engineer because of their background, they are able to earn and also learn and get higher education. These are good examples what is happening. And when these people pass out, I'm talking about who are doing break semester in the factory or diploma engineers who work and they become an engineer. They are ideal candidates to go and work internationally in any company without any further training required for them, because they know what is practical life in the factory before they even complete the education program, and they are not done only for Indian standard. So many of them are ready to go and work in any factory in Europe or USA because the standards are same. When a multinational company sets up a factory, they don't have separate standard for India, because many of the products are getting exported out of India also to Europe and North America. So I think these things are also happening, but only thing is not happening in a big scale. Yes. That is what we are concerned about, and we should address that. I think one way of doing it is acknowledging what is happening in a good way and getting it publicized across, so that others also will come forward. I don't know how many educational institutions know what SRM is doing, or VAT is doing, or IIT is doing. So this needs to be addressed also.
Thank you. You have a comment to make. We'll end with that because we have
Exactly.
time.
I'll keep it very short.
I think I wish to make my comments as the chairman education committee last after they are through.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
Very quickly, very important aspect of quality. I think Germany has a very good model. Actually, there's institutions which are called universities of applied science. The professors that teach at those universities need to have at least 10 years of industry experience. So, when we were talking about addressing the needs of industry, creating employable students that pass out, that is something, and I think with the new national education policy norms, where there's professors of practice, there are now possibilities within the Indian systems to make that happen. And that is one system that's been very, very successful. The second very short comment is another thing about quality. I think accountability is oftentimes missing in our system in general. That may be critical. I'm talking as an Indian now. I'm not talking as a representative of a German institution. Oftentimes accountability is missing. Even students that are not performing, whether it's at school level, university level, we somehow make efforts to make sure that, they succeed. But the point is, if they don't face the consequences of their actions, if they don't see failure, and we just push them through all the time, I think they'll never really learn to be people who can make a difference moving forward. That's the real.
Yeah, I just wish to go back to what Deepak mentioned. It's a fact that and it is into the hands of policymakers, how far teachers being respected over corporate jobs and all compared to.
Sure.
If you look at Finland, maybe Finland is a brilliant example. Probably when the teacher of that order will draw more salary than CEOs. So I think how much merit points to be added to the teaching profession, that is up to the policymakers as well. And definitely we also represented from our Association of Business Schools, AIMS, also to the MHRD earlier. But I think, unfortunately in India, we do not have hardcore nurturing for academic leaders. We talk about leadership in the corporate world for the West Point of the world, Marine SEALs of the world, maybe elite units of the Israel commando units. And we look at that. So even US university presidents also being sent to West Point. Where do we have such kind of areas? Fortunately, I have gone through that on my own 25 years before, and teacher as a leader or leader as a teacher with Ivy Leagues. So that's why we could get groomed. But that is not available for many. And what you mentioned, sir, is very true. There are always exceptions. I know SRM is doing phenomenally well, VIT is doing phenomenally well, IIT is also IIMS. But compared to a country of 1.5 billion population and the number of institutions, that is still minuscule. Our challenge together, I'm saying that our challenge together is how we should scale it up. Let's apply our mind, and whatever best way we can create certain islands of excellence. Still, that is fine. And I'm sure the future generations will be benefited. And my request to Renuji, definitely. Balaji is also here. Sir, you are there. So EU Council also should make a difference, but at the same time, wherever we should work together, will make a lot of difference.
Dr.
Thank you.
I think your last comment was we will need to people are waiting for lunch.
Karthikeyan also wanted to say,
Yeah, but I think-
I wanted to add one thing. Mr. Shakti Kumar, you mentioned about there are certain initiative which has been already taken, but it doesn't reach to media. I think the Chamber of Commerce, like whether it's a EU Chamber or the Indo-German Chamber, if we can reach out to the organization also, then we have a reach to the masses. So these things also are very important. You are a member, and when you are practicing or you are taking these initiatives, we are not aware as an organization. So if you please inform us, we can reach out to the masses. I think that is also something which we would definitely like to request. So Karthikeyan, you
I
also
just got one more point to make before I pass on the mic. So like we're talking about student skilling, right? I think what comes out very clearly is faculty skilling as well. Maybe applying of theoretical knowledge into practical implementation, plus the way in which the teaching should be interesting. The pedagogy of the teaching methodology should be changed. I think if industry can get into that role of training or having these FTPs done at universities or colleges, this is going to change. That was just one point that I want to make.
You want to say something?
Last, see, we are actually differentiating, education skill. Skill is a part of education. From the day one, people should acquire skill from the day one itself. So we don't see that people more in India, actually we are seeing skill is a part of complete your graduation, then come to the skill development center. No. It's a part of education. You realize that when you need some skills, upskill yourself, reskill yourself. And salaries and all these UGC norms, ACTM, they're huge salaries we're paying. But parents sending children to the private colleges and all this there, but only child means quality of education you want will be the quality. Like SRM are doing it, VIT is doing it, many of them. If you can keep talking, so much is there, so we'll stop here.
Yeah, I think thank you so much. We have closed all the doors. If you want to go for lunch, all of you have to give a big clap. You know, the entire hall should hear this out.
I would then call Mr. Rajiv Gupta to. Then I would like to call Dr. Shastri. I would call Mr. Nilesh Gaikwad. I would like to call Dr. Renu Shom to felicitate Mr. Shakti Kumar.